What's up, guys? Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Wednesday, November 15th, and I have some great Ripple news. And it seems lately that all the news that have been coming out about Ripple have been great news. Like, it's all been good. It hasn't been anything negative. They've been making a lot of progress in their relationships with banks, getting their name out there, and building their brand, and also just improving on their technology, getting on different exchanges. But I want to highlight two major items which I think are super important and great for Ripple. The second being, I think, will help drive some of the price up. And I also have my price prediction for Ripple in 2018. And I'll talk a bit about, why the price has been kind of stagnant around like 20 cents. So first, as you can see here, Ripple recently hosted a summit in New York City at the Dale Carnegie Hall, where they had, I think, over 12 of the world's central banks, the representatives from those central banks, in-house to discuss like the new technologies to enable the next generation of payments. So this is significant because, as you've seen in my other videos that I've talked about, this is not just US based, this is global. Ripple's goal and their mission is to make transfer of payments between banks globally faster and also cheaper. And I did a video about SBI Holdings coming out and saying that they saved 60% on costs by using XRP. So as more banks get on board and test out Ripple, and you get some major banks, I think the price will definitely improve. Now, that's not to say it's going to skyrocket like Bitcoin or Ethereum and these other altcoins. Ripple is very different. But before I get ahead of myself, I'll talk about that later. I want to talk about another major news, and that has to do with the Korean crypto exchange Coinrail. They're going to list Ripple XRP starting on November 7th, which is 2 days from now, or a day and a half, I should say. So this is huge because the Koreans, if you guys have been paying attention to the crypto world and what's been going on with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin and so forth, they've been dumping a shitload of money into crypto. It seems like there's a lot of whales there in the Asian market, and definitely Korea, South Korea, of course, not North Korea. But this is huge because it'll give Ripple more exposure, more the ability for folks to purchase Ripple, and obviously folks will start trading it, and that will in itself help to boost the value of XRPs. And I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I mentioned that CoinDelta was added Ripple XRP to their exchange, specifically in India, so folks in India can start investing. So there's some great progress being made here, and I think Ripple is getting more exposure, but it's not going to skyrocket overnight. So I don't want you guys to think about that Ripple XRP is like Bitcoin or anything like that. Ripple, their growth is heavily dependent upon banks getting on board, and obviously they have a lot of over 100 financial institutions on board. But they also want to make sure their technology works, and they can work through the kinks and the trial and errors, and making sure that banks like the software and the setup and the payment system, and they actually start to use XRP as well. But this is huge news for Ripple, more exposure, and more money is going to be dumped into Ripple XRP. And as I've mentioned in my previous videos, I am heavily invested in Ripple XRP. It's the as far as volume goes, within my portfolio, I own, in comparison to my other cryptos, a lot of Ripple XRP. So I believe in the technology. I believe in the future of the company, because I've seen the progress they made. I've seen the technology. I've seen the folks who they partner with, the banks that are on board, and obviously I have confidence in the folks who are running it there. And as far as my price prediction, now, this, of course, I'm not a professional. This is just from my own studies and research and looking at how things have progressed and using charts and all of these things. I predict Ripple will absolutely hit $1 in 2018, and possibly $2. So I think the price will slowly and gradually make its way up there. And the reason why I'm saying that it will slowly do it is, and why it's been hovering around 20 cents for so long, is Ripple and the banks, the financial institutions that are currently testing XRP, they they are definitely controlling the price. Because if there's a lot of volatility in the price, the banks are not going to use XRP. They're not going to trust it. Because remember, when you're transferring money between banks or person to person, whatever, if I send you $1 and it's absolutely worth $1, but by the time it gets to you, there's so much volatility in that dollar, it drops to 75 cents. Well, that's not good, right? Because then you actually didn't send the value that you said you were. So think about the bank sending money from one globally, right? And if there's huge dips and spikes and things like it's not gonna work because the value would just keep fluctuating and it would be a mess. But if you have something that's stable and that's gradually increases, it doesn't go crazy in 24 hours like Bitcoin Cash did the other day, right? That's something sustainable and that can grow and the banks can trust. So that's what I think personally from my research and what I've been looking at, and I think for sure Ripple's going to hit $1 in 2018 and possibly $2. Will I sell some of my Ripple? Possibly. It depends. I have to do my research at that time because if the price keeps going up, and this maybe in the next 3-4 years, right? I'm just going to keep holding. Maybe I'll sell some, but I'm just going to keep holding. And for the long term, because I believe in the technology, I believe more banks are going to come on board, and I absolutely believe it takes just one of those huge banks like J.P. Morgan Chase or Bank of America, whatever it is, Citigroup, to come on board and start accepting Ripple or use Ripple, I should say, XRP. And I think it's going to skyrocket from there once you have a major bank on board. So those are my thoughts. I know there's a lot of Ripple haters out there because I think a lot of people have a misconception of Ripple and they think it's like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but it's not. Because it's not for the general public, it's for banks. And Ripple has a ton of investors, even Google, and there's a lot of folks on board who believe in the technology, and I believe in it, and I think it's just going to keep going up in visibility and branding, in partnerships, in getting more banks on board, and I think it's going to get some adoption by some major banks once they've gone through the tests, and I'm thinking there's great things ahead. Would love to hear what you guys think about Ripple and its future. Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Talk to you later.